Cool.
Get a controller over here.
Let's get him a controller.
All right, Isaac.
Isaac.
Do we have audio?
Yes,
Okay,
magic.
we're good. Great. Thank you, Andy. So I want to talk through some of the ways in which we're bringing in nostalgia as well as a unique look for the unified menu for this particular game. So one of the subtle touches that you'll notice as you browse the menus in the game is you'll get your music cues from each game as you browse Halo 1, Halo 2, and you also notice the backgrounds, again, will be sensitive to the game that you're looking at the particular time that you're moving through the menu there. So again, they change each time. And this is going to be reflected in each part of the game, so campaigns, multiplayer, and something a bit unique for each one. So just a way we're trying to make the experience of browsing the Master Chief Collection really exciting and bring you some of that nostalgia. Now, we talked about playlists before. I wanted to talk a little bit about the philosophy behind how we thought about some of these playlists. And specifically, we've talked about cross-game. In this case, though, let's talk about the particular game that we're doing our anniversary treatment for. So Halo 2, here's a sampling of some of the playlists that we're thinking about for this particular game. So in the past, some folks who really love a hardcore challenge, they would do things like the Lazo campaign, for example. Now, that's a particular configuration where you've got the game on Legendary, all skulls on, and people know how to set that up. We wanted to curate this and make it something that basically is more discoverable for everybody out there, and then also to recognize the achievement associated with doing that. So we're thinking of a number of different ways to reward people for playing through that playlist. There's some other ones on here that are a good example of ways in which we think about it, because we think about these in terms of themes. And so one of the great things about Halo 2, you played as the Arbiter, you played as Master Chief. So we actually have a combination of levels that plays specifically for the Arbiter back to back. That's a new experience because if you remember in the original campaign, you actually were doing them interspersed from one to the next. So that's a pretty cool way to think about it. And the flip side of that, of course, is the Master Chief journey, which, again, it's those particular Chief levels back to back. Now, another collection that we have here is fan favorites, just some of the missions that people particularly enjoyed playing on this one. And there's going to be a variety of these types of playlists that call out basically some of the particular highlights of the game and great moments in them. Now, another key piece to remember for Halo 2 Anniversary is for the first time ever, we're going to have online co-op play through this campaign. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, I'd also like to speak a little bit to how we think about curating the multiplayer experience. With 100 multiplayer maps, a lot of great game types available to you. How are you going to find the best of the best? So here's a sampling of some of the multiplayer playlists that we're thinking about. And you're going to see a wide range of content here. Now, one thing I do want to clarify is you notice when I go through these, there are some that are dedicated to each title. So yes, there is one for Halo 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Halo 2 Anniversary. As well as some cross-game ones, and there's a kind of a few different ways we think about these cross-game ones. So in one particular case, we have a very broad range of content here, right? So Team Slayer, this particular multiplayer playlist has a wide variety of content in it.
Nice.
Now that's to get back to some of the spirit of what it felt like to be in multiplayer at a time when, while we will have voting, we want to make sure that a lot of those maps that maybe, didn't get as much discoverability back in the day, we'll bubble them up. And, having 4 games worth of content there is a great way to really bring that vibe back to these playlists. Another thing that we think about is rotational playlists. So in this particular case, we have a rotation of, some of the best SWAT maps across these particular games. And you'll notice this particular list is shorter than the other one because, again, these are curated to be specifically the best maps for SWAT across all these different games. So you may be wondering, how exactly, do you have a seamless experience as you go from one of these titles to the next? Because things have changed over time, right? Dual wielding, equipment, loadout, sprint, all these different things. So one of the things that we thought about in unifying this package is our universal control schemes. So we haven't talked about this, and this is something that we wanted to give you a brief demo of, but you can customize your controls for each title, for each option individually, and we have the option for these things to, for example, apply a setting like, let's say, your sensitivity, and with the press of a button, you can apply that setting to every single title in the collection. The other cool thing about this is we have universal control schemes. So here's an example of one for you, and in this particular case, the goal with these is to unify what an action, how that action occurs across games. And we did a lot of digging on this, and we really feel like we have a number of control schemes that are going to work across all the games. That said, again, if you really want to get in there and have a custom one for a particular game, you're always welcome to override that. You can have everything customized per title for all these options, however you like. So that's how we think about that.
Awesome. Thank you, Max. So something that we mentioned on stage at E3 is the Halo 2 anniversary Halo 2 is getting that full anniversary treatment. And Dennis, I want to talk a little bit about what, both in terms of campaign and multiplayer, what that means for Halo 2.
Well, when we started thinking, like the anniversary treatment, we really looked back to Halo 1 anniversary and what did we do there? And right off the bat, from a campaign perspective, obviously you just need to remaster the campaign. So we worked with Saber Interactive again, who worked on Halo 1 anniversary.